Hi and welcome to Scotty Wandering. My name's Peter. I tour campgrounds, I tour state parks, I show you what those campgrounds are like, I show you what the state parks are like, and today I'm in Iowa at Backbone State Park, Iowa's first state park. I am here to explore this park. Sort of its symbol of the park is that observation tower over there. I'm at the boat ramp right now on Backbone Lake. This lake is created by a couple of dams. There are two spillways on either side of me over here, both running very dry this year. I am here in mid-September 2023. Colors haven't quite started to turn yet, but I'm sure this place is absolutely gorgeous when the colors turn. I have a few just popping across the lake right now. We're going to look over the campgrounds, get a view of what kind of hiking trails are here. There are two campgrounds. One is just over behind the trees over here. There are some cabins across the lake available to rent. And then there's a primitive campground way at the other end of the park. I haven't even figured out how to get there yet. I think I got to go out of the park and around and back in to get to that. So let's get touring, find out about Backbone State Park, Iowa's first state park, and see what it has to offer. Okay, welcome to the South Lake Campground, a modern day campground, so the sign says. This campground is, I'm from Wisconsin. That's where most of my tours are. Most of the campsites are woods with a carve out in each spot where the campsite is. This is the other end. This is more RV park kind of camping. There are two campgrounds here. This is the South Lake Campground. This is considered the modern day with amenities, not the primitive campground. We'll check that one out later. I'm not going to do a full walking tour of this campground because I don't think it's quite worth it, but I will show you the general areas of this campground because you can see through the whole thing. This does have power throughout, but not every site has power. So you have a choice of getting a site with electricity or a site without electricity. There are 100 sites in this campground, broken into two sections. 1 through 23 over here has 30 amp sites. 24 through 100 has 100 amp sites. But there are specific sites that are electric, mainly down the middle where they just run the line. And on the outer edges is just green space to tent camp. So let's take a look at the two sections right away. So section 1 through 23 over here, we have, you come in here, it's a one-way road throughout, all the way down, one big loop up, and you have very clear pads to park on. They're not completely level. The side I chose, 23, had a little side slope to it, so I always felt a little off at night. Now, some of the sites are reservable, and some are first come, first serve. Now, this particular one, as you can see, is a reservable site. Checkout is at 3 o'clock. It had a reservation marked here. And actually, that was, oh no, that ended the night out. This was the day before I got here, so that was for the weekend. I'm here on a Monday night. If a site is not booked when you get here, and it doesn't show it's booked, you can nab it for 2 nights. You must reserve sites 2 days in advance. So you can see most of this is just wide open. You're sitting next to your neighbors. There are some beautiful trees in here, but you don't have a clear division of my space, trees, cover between you and your neighbors. The whole campground is like that. So on this particular night, on a Monday night, mid-September, there was one other camper way at the very end of the loop down there. I chose a spot close to the pit toilet in this section. All right, I'm kind of in the middle of the campground right now. Way down there, you can see a pop-up down there. There's a couple gentlemen down there, and that's close to the lake. Not on the lake by any sense. We have a bit of a drop here. There is a hose bib. That's where you get water here, because you can't actually get water out of the bathhouses up the hill. But you can see we got power running throughout the whole section out here. There might be a couple non-electric sites, but I didn't really notice them. Great woods all around you, but in the camping area you are on top of each other. And since it's all powered, I'm sure in the summer you get RVs just jamming this full. You enter up over the hill, and I'm at the pay station right now. That's a section I just viewed. Across the way here, on the way out from the big section, there is a dump station available. So that is an amenity on site. There's a bathhouse here, and there's another one further up the road as well. And as you can see through this section, which is actually sites you access from the far side on the return road, are all tent sites. There is no power along those, as well as this long stretch along here on the outside. So say 24 is a reservable non-electric site along the woods. Very nice little site. Now what I always baffled about by these kind of sites is there's no pad for your vehicle, even though you have to have a vehicle to get here. So you're just parking on the grass wherever you feel like. Up on the hill here you've got one of the shower houses. The showers are the kind of push button, and it gives you like 3 minutes of water or something like that before it shuts down. First shot is probably going to be what you need just to warm the water up, and then you get on the second one. Camp host right next to that. And once you get past the camp host, it widens way out to a big section, multiple rows of campers, and it is definitely laid out in a modern sense, where as you're coming down those rows, it's just site after site after site. Right now I'm still in the non-electric section, as in they consider that tent section. Thing is, in a modern campground these days, tenters want power too. Got to keep your devices charged. So this is a non-reservable. You just pay up front and place your stub there. Now there's a side loop, site 28 through 34. Over here, just a nice little side loop of non-electric sites. So this would be pretty much just all tenters. Now that tent was there last night. There's no car there. It didn't look like anybody was there last night, but cars just sitting there. Some are reservable on the inside, some are not. Now the first shower building up by the campground host and accessible to the first loop over there, or fairly accessible, that is the kind where you have the men's side and the women's side completely separate, which is, you know, a way of doing a shower building. The one over here appears to be the individual showers. So this shower building, unisex bathrooms, no lights. There is a light. Unisex bathroom and shower. So more family friendly this way, more like home. So you can kind of get a sense of how wide open this campground is. Like I said, a mix of tent and electric, and some of these are huge sites. Like right here I got a big pull through on the end, but it's just basically wide open to your neighbors. And a lot of these are pull throughs, like this one as well. Just pull right on in. So shower house over there. It looks like there is another campground host right next to it. This whole wing over here, non-electric, just park where you want. Here, Well, this is obviously a pull through, but it is a bit of a slope through, so it's not the most level modern campground. They did it from a viewpoint from above. It looks like a modern RV park, but they didn't take out the rolling hills to do it. All right, at the pay station, give you a sense of what's going on here. Basically have a with reservation, without reservation section here. So fees are $20 a night for electric, not bad. $14 for non-electric, also pretty good. No difference for out of state versus in-state. Details on how you register. You have 30 minutes once you have picked the site to get up here and register for your site. They do list all the reservations here, so when you show up, you look to make sure you are in the right spot. That's helpful in case you forgot. But as you can see, there was only a few reservations here when I got here. So out of that 100 sites in the campground, there was only like 7 sites reserved. So I just rolled up and picked whatever side I wanted. Everybody else was already here. Fee station or pay right here. Bring exact change. Does make life easier. $20 makes it easy. I hate when it's 18 bucks means I'm giving them a donation of $2 if I didn't bring change. So that is the South Lake Campground in a general sense. Hope that was useful. Let's go take a look at the rest of this park. Well, wouldn't be one of my videos lately without birds yapping at me. So here I'm down at the beach area. Beautiful beach lodge. We have this other little boathouse building over here with the observation tower, which is at the same height I am right now on the hillside. So we're gonna check that out. Campground's behind those trees, the modern day campground. Boat ramp over there, spillway on either side. Lots of geese right now. And a big, beautiful beach. And some colors are already starting to pop over here. Oh, the pier's connected? The piers are not connected. Mind the gap. Wow. So between Memorial Day and Labor Day, up at the beach house lodge, there are concessions, and that includes boat access, canoes, kayaks, whatever, paddling, paddle boats kind of things, to be used out on this nice flat, calm lake. There's also a lot of different kind of concession items available up there as well, but that's all done, staffed by college students. We're back to college. It's dead empty now. Okay, now that I'm on the quieter side, geese are over there. Center section, big open shelter, but locked up. This is a seasonal or facility apparently. On the one end is your concession stand, hot dogs, pretzels, smoothies, whatnot. Again, closed for the season. So most of this building is shelter, gathering space. There does seem to be a code lock, so maybe you can rent it for that purpose. In case you're wondering which way the sun sets, it's over there. Now, I can't confirm or deny, but hopefully the main lodge has facilities, restroom facilities in it, because that's by the beach. There's certainly nothing down in the boathouse with the tower. All the way across the parking lot, there is an old CCC building that used to be pit toilets that has been updated to have flush toilets now, which means it has a seasonal end date. They have to shut that down. There's also a outdoor shower here to rinse off after using the beach. And down at the end of the parking lot is a wonderful information sign. This will give you a really good sense of the whole park. So the first campground I toured was here. We're over here at the beach house. I'm going to see if I can get up by the cabins, but the road is being worked on right now. To get to the rest of this, I have to either hike the whole trail, which is a hike, truly a hike, on both sides. There are lots of different trails here. Or go out of the park and back in to get to the other side. Now I'm going to have to do that to get to this campground anyway, to show you that. And there's a whole another section way up here. So let's go exploring. First, I'm going to see about getting down to the cabins. Now this is some serious cornhole. Bring your bags. Don't have to bring the rest of the setup. Concrete cornhole. Wow. All right, down here at the lake, made a short hike off the end of the parking area there and gets us to our first cabin. Let's take a look. There are different size cabins available. This cabin appears to be a 2-bedroom cabin. So there's a cluster of cabins here. I see at least 4 in this cluster. They appear to be similar size. Like I said, the road is being worked on at the moment. So next year should have good access. So those are cabins A through D. Cabins 1, 2, 3, and 4, a little further down, another cluster. These are smaller cabins than the previous ones. All of these have AC. Wow. This is the view across the road as you come in. It's outside the park in some farmers' fields. Next group of cabins is 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's take a closer look if we can. Now off the back of these cabins, we are on a bluff. The trail is way down there along the lake. I'm not even sure if these have an easy access, maybe down through here. There's your hiking trail to climb down towards the trail from this set. So you may be camping on the bluffs overlooking the lake. It's a little hard to see through in the summer. But at the same time, and that's the geologic feature that they preserved with the state park. But at the same time, you're also out in Iowa cornfields. A bit further down the road, I get cabins 9 and 10. A little more isolated now. These are larger cabins though. They have a lot more parking area per cabin. And at almost a mile away from the beach, so not close for amenities, is cabins 11 and 12, nice and remote. If you book them both for a family, you are going to have a nice quiet time out here all alone. Do what you want, no one's going to care. I'm going to take the East Lake Trail back and see what that's like. Trails might be flooded during high water. That's important to know. Okay, for those watching this when it comes out, which is probably going to be late November, so the place will already be closed for the season, but it'll be close to time to book for the following year for October. The campground shuts down mid-October to shut off the water, but I can imagine that this is an absolutely beautiful place to be in the fall, down on this trail along the lake with the colors. So if you like to plan ahead and like to go leaf peeking, plan ahead and nab a spot right over there in the campground in October, and it's going to be beautiful, I'm sure. I am now just past the east gate at their scenic overlook. Let's see if this comes across. I might have to change cameras for this. First of all, give it up to Iowa for knowing what vista cutting means and keeping this area clear. I'm sure this is an absolutely gorgeous spot in the fall. Let's take a look in. Got the river down there. We've got the bluffs. Absolutely beautiful little spot here. Well, I just came like 30 seconds down the road from that viewpoint and I found another parking area for a trailhead for Blackbone Trail. Looked at the map, it's less than a mile out and back loop. So let's go check that out. Well, I've already got a couple of these little offshoots of the trail viewpoints overlooking the river. And I'd have to give it up to the folks of Iowa for changing the name. This was originally known as the Devil's Backbone. It's this little ridge that comes out here along a snake of the river. And luckily they just changed it to Backbone. I get so tired of every place having a devil's name in front of it for no reason other than somebody thought it would be cool and everything was devilish if it wasn't Christian. So thank you for changing it to just the Backbone. Not what I would call an accessible trail. And this was the easy path. So there will be climbing big steps. Wear proper shoes for you with good grip. And here we are again. Another nice little overlook. You do have to be careful of crevasses in the trail. Like I said, not an accessible trail. This is not simple climbing. But interesting formations. Now this is not the official trail, I'm sure, but something you can explore. How much of a climber are you, and if you want to get down to the river from here? Don't lose your kids in the trail. This place really is choose your own adventure. I've just hit, after coming down, part of the Backbone, and now I've got a wider section here. I could head down that path that loops around, I'm sure. I could head up the row of roots and rocks there, or I could head down that path. It all loops back, so who knows? I guess I'll go that way. There are paths down to the river. Okay, I changed my mind. Let your kids get lost out here. There's only one way off, back towards the parking area. And there's so much to explore here. You can go down to the river, especially when the water's low right now. Obviously, kids have been spending a lot of time out here because there's a couple of these bushcraft shelters. And those don't happen if you're just making a quick hike. You need to spend some time, explore, and have some outdoor playtime to really do that. And this is a great place for that. There are things to climb up and down. Yes, there are some bluffs, but most humans have enough self-preservation to keep themselves from getting hurt. I'm more scared of things like this tree behind me that doesn't have a lot to lean on right now. So that's the thing you don't want to be playing under. Well, the Backbone Trail does not disappoint. I can see why this was sort of the impetus for creating this state park. This little section along the river in this horseshoe bend at the end is really quite unique in many ways, probably more ways than they realized when they created the state park. And it's just a great place to get out, wander in the woods. All right, let's go see what else this park has to offer. Welcome to the Six Pines Primitive Campground at Backbone State Park. I want to say something here. Hate to complain, but this place has got amazing wayfinding signs. You know, here's our campsite loop. This is the kind of sign you're looking for throughout the park to know where to go. I came in on the east gate. There were signs all over every step of the way telling me how to get to this campground. This campground just happens to be, you know, come down that road right by the west gate. They're missing a sign. You come down the main road of the park, you hit that west gate, left right there takes you down to this campground. They don't have a sign there. I wound up leaving the park going, where's the campground? I had to turn around, come back, and there's my sign coming in. So they're missing some signage. Most of it, like I said, is very well and almost overmarked on directions. So here, sites are $14 a night. Just have pit toilets, some water spigots around. Very basic. How many sites do I have? 27 sites. Again, I'm not going to do a full walking tour of this. This is meant for tent camping for the primary use. You could park some other things here if you want. There is no electric. There are not flat gravel pads or anything like that. Here's a list of those that actually were reserved for upcoming dates. Yeah, these are upcoming dates coming up next weekend. So there's still quite a bit available, first come, first serve, in mid-September. So this is what you're looking at as a campground. Basically, wide open space. There are spaces on the outside, spaces on the inside. The middle inner is just general common area with the little playground here. But it is just a wide open, make your own adventure camping. You have a designated parking area and fire ring. But beyond that, do what you want. There's another pit toilet on the far side. But that is generally it. I do believe there are hiking trails coming off of here. I'm gonna go take a look and see what trails come off of here. Okay, Six Pine Trail goes off there. That takes you down to the river and the day use area down there, which I'll show you in a bit. It is extensive. Now there are a few that are called youth group sites, like this one and the next one. The only real difference is there's a little more space between them and the next ones, and they have these extra large picnic tables. Also coming off the back corner of the trail of the campground is the West Lake Trail that also allows bikes on it. mountain bikes. So that is accessible off the edge of the campground here too. So this truly is a mix of reservable, non-reservable, wide open sites. Say this one is a reservable site. If there was not a reservation, this one out on the 18th, I'm here on the 20th now. I could grab this one if I'd like. But there's plenty of others right now, so it doesn't matter. You don't have to worry about your tents having windfall or trees falling on them in this kind of campground. It is wide open. Like I said, make your own adventure. Set yourself up any way you want. They're not on top of each other. There does seem to be space between the sites, but there's, you know, no cover between each other, obviously. And I'm all alone! So get on out here. Let's go see what else is out there. I'll show you that day use area. It's really quite nice. One last thing. This is grass, not gravel sites. I'm so used to seeing tent sites, you know, carved out of the woods that are just on a gravel pad. And because they're wooded, the grass doesn't grow. Here you've got beautiful, soft grass to put your tents on. Makes for very nice night's sleep in a tent. Now this makes me a little sad. I can't share this with you. Up there in that building is the CCC Museum. I would really love to explore that. I would really love the opportunity to know more, even to know even more about the CCC. They have been so integral to all of my travels. Everywhere I go, I find evidence of their old camps, all the work that they did to make these wild spaces accessible to people. Maybe not in a modern day accessibility meaning, but at least someone with an able body can hike through the woods and have a trail to go to. And without the hard work of those young boys in the CCC, we wouldn't have shelters like this. These were hand-built. Stone, hand-carved. Wood, hand-cut. Very little machines working with them. They cut the roads through these parks. They made it possible to get through. They built retaining walls, and they built shelters and buildings like this. Let's go in and take a look. Now this shelter is reservable. If it is not reserved, you're welcome to use it. Beautiful little building with a fireplace. And you can use these fireplaces if you want to. I have seen some places where they have been in use. Not very often, but you can use them. Beautiful shelters like this thanks to the CCC. This park had 2 CC camps in it, building things. And that makes these places accessible. And if you're not familiar with the CCC, that means Civilian Conservation Corps. They were set up during the Depression as part of the New Deal as a way to get young men working. They would come here to places like this. They would live and work in these camps, make a salary, you know, a couple bucks a day, a buck or two a day, or a couple bucks a week, send most of it home to help their families, and they were taken to give them food and shelter while they were here. And a lot of those men went straight from the CCC straight into World War II. They were well trained, in good shape, and they got us going at the beginning of World War II. Now I'm going to drive this road heading upstream along that starts in this day use area. I have no idea what I'm going to find up there, but we're just going to do a little driving tour, probably time lapse it. It's along a trout stream, so I guess if that's your thing, you can go fishing here too. I want to show you this. This was a trout hatchery. I've seen aerial images and kind of curious by it. That was closed in 1988. You'll find a lot of drone footage of this out there. A lot of effort went into this thing. And I also wanted to show you these bridges. So you hit the point where you see a 10-mile-an-hour speed limit sign. It's because of these bridges, which are not just bridges. This is a low water year. In a higher water year, I believe this allows you to drive across when the water is going over the top. I've seen this kind of thing in the campground in another section in Iowa in the Yellow River State Forest. I can't remember the name of the campground right now, but you had to cross bridges like this twice within the campground, and that was with water flowing over it. But this is a nice little trout stream. And between two of those bridges, you have balanced rock parking, and I believe that's balanced rock up there. Well, there's definitely fish down there. See, if I move, they jump, they run around. And you can see on this bridge, we're practically overflowing. You have these grates to drop the water down in there. But it wouldn't take much for the water to be flowing over this. But I stopped at this spot for Backbone Cave. Let's go see what the cave is about. Don't know what it's like, but I brought a light. Well, this looks like the CCC has been here and made these steps for us. Remember, these steps are over 100 years old. And we got a cave. How deep does it go? Not that deep. It's just 15 yards, maybe. Never seen an auditorium. This is unique. There are acoustics in here. That is a great space. Reservable. Reserve your space. Great for a wedding, that's for sure. So if you're looking for a nice wooded spot to have a wedding, too bad it doesn't have any big group campsites to go with it. This is a great facility. Well, I don't find a cornerstone or anything, but actually looking at this, it doesn't feel like CCC because there's huge gaps, and they were much tighter fit on anything I ever seen them build. They don't use as much mortar as this, and certainly not slabs like that. But still, a great facility in this park available for rental. And this is what I mean by the difference. You can see much tighter joint fits and fitting a block in this old CCC bathroom here than that shelter just up the hill, and a better use of more local materials on the timbers. Now, along the stretch of the trout stream, along the road here, there's an accessible fishing area right along the trout stream where you're just sort of fishing right from a concrete bank into this trout stream. So anybody can get in there and do that. And there's a nice couple up there. He's fishing, she's got her lounge chair out and reading a magazine. Well, I'm a sucker for scenic overlook, so let's see what I find and how long in it is. And since I'm down by the trout stream and I'm heading to an overlook, I can only mean one thing. I gotta climb. After that initial climb, just a nice walk in the woods where you can actually see through the woods. Well, I'm hoping this isn't the scenic overlook, but it is overlooking the old fish hatchery. Let's hope there's something better. Well, that was thoroughly disappointing. I'm at the other end of the trail, which is just on the main road heading north-south. Half a mile to the Auditorium, and that's where I started. Scenic overlook. Apparently that is the overlook of the old fish hatch. I was hoping for more. Couple last notable items in the state park. Across from me here near the north gate is an equestrian day use parking area for riding equestrian trails. Right up at the north entrance, not part of the park, but at the entrance, is a golf course, if that's your thing. And I'm wandering down to Richmond Springs right now and see what that's about. So this is Richmond Springs. Water supposedly comes out of here about 2,000 gallons a minute, or used to. And the reason they had to close the fish hatchery is it wasn't quite enough to keep it healthy. But the fish are definitely in here. So they actually were piping the water downstream to the fish hatchery. Now it just flows along the trout stream. So that is Backbone State Park in the Driftless area of Iowa. Has a lot to offer. 2 distinct campgrounds, 100 sites in one, 27 in the other, different sections of the park. Big long lake with a nice beach shelter, everything you need there, all the amenities you normally find, especially in the summer, not so much on the off season. I expect this place to be packed in mid-October for the colors. I don't know how busy it is in the summers. I'm sure it's not quiet. You got equestrian trails, you've got bike trails, you got lots of hiking trails. Don't be fooled by the scenic overlook. Like I said, I'm a sucker for scenic overlook, and I was a sucker that time, and I shouldn't have bothered carrying a camera. Anyway, you got a beautiful trout stream running through the park. Lots of great CCC shelters. A CCC museum I could not enjoy. I'm sorry about that. And like I said, those 2 very nice distinct campgrounds. Both of them wide open, almost looking like this park. Great grassy sites for tenting. So thanks for coming along on this trip. I hope you got a lot out of it and really got a sense of what this state park has to offer, which is a lot. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for coming along. Get on out there and watch out for deer.